Khwarezm, kwə́rɛzəm, or Chorasmia, kə́räzmiə, is a large oasis region on the Amu Darya river delta in western Central Asia, bordered on the north by the Aral Sea, on the east by the Kyzylkum desert, on the south by the Karakum desert, and on the west by the Ustyurt Plateau. It was the center of the Iranian Khwarezmian civilization and a series of kingdoms such as the Persian Empire, whose capitals were Kath, Gurganj, and, from the 16th century on, Khiva.Today Khwarezm belongs partly to Uzbekistan, partly to Kazakhstan and partly to Turkmenistan. Names and etymology. Names. Khwarezm has been known also as Chorasmia, kwə́rɛzmiə, kwə́rɛzəm, kwə́rɛzəm, Chorasm, Khwarezm, 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 oasis, and Khwarezm. In Avestan the name is kwə́rɛzəm, in Old Persian Khwarezmish, in Modern Persian kwə́rɛzəm, in Arabic Zuwarism, in Old Chinese *qaljmi, in Modern Chinese Wælezimo, in Tajik Zorism, in Kazakh, in Uzbek Zorism, in Turkmen oarism, in Turkish Khwarezm, in Greek language Chi-Omicron Rho Alpha Sigma Mu Iota Alpha and Chi-Omicron Rho Alpha Sigma Iota Mu Alpha by Herodotus. Etymology. The Arab geographer Yaqut al-Hamawi in his Mugam al-Budin wrote that the name was a Persian compound of kwa and dar-azm, referring to the abundance of cooked fish as a main diet of the peoples of this area. C.E. Bosworth, however, believes the Persian name to be made up of xor and zam, designating the land from which the sun rises, although the same etymology is also given for Khorasan. Another view is that the Iranian compound stands for lowland, from ka, low, and zam, land. Khwarezm is indeed the lowest region in Central Asia, located on the delta of the Amu Darya on the southern shores of the Aral Sea. Various forms of kwa are commonly used also in the Persian Gulf to stand for tidal flats, marshland, or tidal bays. The name also appears in Achaemenid inscriptions as Khwarezmish, which is declared to be part of the Persian Empire. Some of the early scholars believed Khwarezm to be what ancient Avestic texts refer to as Untitled Chapter. These sources claim that Old Gurganj, which was the capital of ancient Khwarezm for many years, was actually, however, the eighth land of Ahura Mazda mentioned in the Pahlavi text of Vendidad. However, Michael Witzel, a researcher in early Indo-European history, believes that Untitled Chapter was located in what is now Afghanistan, the northern areas of which were a part of ancient Khwarezm and Greater Khorasan. Others, however, disagree. University of Hawaii historian Elton L. Daniel believes Khwarezm to be the most likely locale corresponding to the original home of the Avestan people, and Decoder calls Khwarezm the cradle of the Aryan tribe. Legendary history. Al-Biruni, a native speaker of Chorasmian, says that the land belonging to the mythical king of Thracia was first colonized 980 years before Alexander the Great, when the hero of the Iranian epic Sivash came to Khwarezm. His son Khusrau came to the throne 92 years later. In 1200 B.C., Al-Biruni starts giving names only with the Afrigid line of Khwarezmshahs, having placed the ascension of Afrids in 616 of the Seleucid era, i.e. in 305 A.D. Early people, like Sogdiana, Khwarezm was an expansion of the Biamaci culture during the Bronze Age, which later fused with Indo-Iranians during the migrations around 1000 BC. Early Iron Age states arose from this cultural exchange. List of successive cultures in Khwarezm region: 3500 BC, Celtimina culture c. 3000 BC, Suyagan culture c. 2000 BC, Tazabagiab culture c. 1500 BC, Amirabad culture c. 1000 BC, Saka c. 500 BC. During the final Saka phase, there were about 400 settlements in Khwarezm, ruled by the native Afrigid dynasty. It was at this point that Khwarezm entered the historical record with the Achaemenid expansion. Khwarezmian language and culture and East Iranian language, known as Khwarezmian language, was spoken in Khwarezm proper until soon after the Mongol invasion, when it was replaced by Turkic languages. It was closely related to Sogdian, other than the astronomical terms used by the native Iranian Khwarezmian speaker al-Biruni. Our other sources of Khwarezmian includes Amikshari's Arabic Persian Khwarezmian dictionary and several legal texts that use Khwarezmian terms to explain certain legal concepts. In the very early part of its history, the inhabitants of the area were from Iranian stock and they spoke an Eastern Iranian language called Khwarezmian. The famous scientist al-Biruni, a Khwarezm native, in his Athar al-Baqiyya, specifically verifies the Iranian origins of Khwarezmians when he wrote, "The area of Khwarezm was under Afrigid and thence Samanid control until the 10th century before it was conquered by the Ghaznavids." The Iranian Khwarezmian language and culture felt the pressure of Turkic infiltration from northern Khwarezm southwards, leading to the disappearance of the original Iranian character of the province and its complete Turkicization today. But Khwarezmian speech probably lasted in Upper Khwarezm, the region round Hazarasp, till the end of the 8th–14th century. The Iranian Khwarezmian language survived for several centuries after Islam until the Turkification of the region, and so must some at least of the culture and law of ancient Khwarezm, for it is hard to see the commanding figure of al-Biruni, a repository of so much knowledge, appearing in a cultural vacuum. Achaemenid, Parthian and Sassanid era. Sometime before the Achaemenid king Cyrus the Great's death in 530 BC, he had conquered Khwarezm. While he was dying, he appointed his son Smerdis-Bardiya as the governor of the region, along with Bactriana, Carmania, and the other eastern provinces of the empire. And the Persian poet Ferdowsi mentions Persian cities like Afrasiab and Chach in abundance in his epic Shahnameh. When the king of Khwarezm offered friendship to Alexander the Great in 328 BC, Alexander's Greek and Roman biographers imagined the nomad king of a desert waste. But 20th-century Russian archaeologists revealed the region as a stable and centralized kingdom, a land of agriculture to the east of the Aral Sea, surrounded by the nomads of Central Asia, protected by its army of mailed horsemen. In the most powerful kingdom northwest of the Amu Darya, the king's emissary offered to lead Alexander's armies against his own enemies, west over the Caspian towards the Black Sea. Alexander politely refused. Although largely independent during the Seleucid, Bactrian and Arsacid dynasties, it is known that Khwarezm and neighboring Bactriana were part of the Sassanid Empire during the time of Bahram II. Jaqut al-Hamawi verifies that Khwarezm was a regional capital of the Sassanid Empire. When speaking of the pre-Islamic Khosrau of Khwarezm, the Islamic Emir of Khwarezm, or even the Khwarezmid Empire, sources such as al-Biruni and Ibn Khordadbeh and others clearly refer to Khwarezm as being part of the Iranian Empire. The fact that Pahlavi script, which was used by the Persian bureaucracy alongside Old Persian, passed into use in Khwarezmia where it served as the first local alphabet about the AD 2nd century, as well as evidence that Khwarezm Shahs such as Ala al-Din Tekish issued all their orders in Persian language, corroborates al-Biruni's claims. It was also vassal kingdom during periods of Kushans, Hafthalites and Gokturks before coming of Arabs. Afrids. The Afrids were a native Chorasmian dynasty which ruled over the kingdom of Khwarezm from 305 until 995 AD. Sometimes it was under Sassanid control. In 712 Khwarezm was conquered by the Arab Umayyads. It thus came vaguely under Muslim suzerainty, but it was not until the end of the 8th century and the beginning of the 9th century that an Afrigid Shah was first converted to Islam, appearing with the popular convert's name of Abdullah. In the course of the 10th century, when some geographers such as Istakri in his Al-Masalik wa al-Mamalik mentioned Khwarezm as part of Khorasan and Transoxiana, the local family of the Mamunids, who were based in Gurganj, on the left bank of the Amu Darya, grew in economic and political importance due to trade caravans. In 995, they violently overthrew the Afrids of Kath and themselves assumed the traditional title of Khwarezm Shah. Briefly, the area was under Samanid suzerainty, before it passed to Mahmud of Ghazni in 1017. From then on, Turco-Mongolian invasions and long rule by Turco-Mongol dynasties supplanted the Iranian character of the region, although the title of Khwarezm Shah was maintained well up to the 13th century. Khwarezmian Empire. In the 12th century, the Khwarezmian Empire was founded and, in the early 13th century, ruled over all of Persia under the Shah Ala al-Din Muhammad II. In 1141, Yeludashi won the Battle of Katwin against a Seljuk army commanded by Sunja. As a result, Khwarezm became a vassal of the Karakum Khanate. Then from 1218 to 1220 Genghis Khan launched the invasion of Central Asia, which absorbed the Karakum Khanate and ended Khwarezmian Empire. Sultan Muhammad died after retreating from the Mongols near the Caspian Sea, while his son Jalal ad-Din, after defeat by Genghis Khan at the Battle of Indus, sought refuge with the Delhi Sultanate, and was later assassinated after various attempts to fight both the Mongols and the Seljuks. Modern age. The region of Khwarezm was split between the White Horde and Jagatai Khanate, and its rebuilt capital Gurganj again became one of the largest and most important trading centers in Central Asia. In the mid-14th century, Khwarezm gained independence from the Golden Horde under the Sufid dynasty. However, Timur regarded Khwarezm as a rival to Samarkand, and over the course of 5 campaigns, he destroyed Gurganj completely in 1388. This, together with a shift in the course of the Amu Darya, caused the center of Khwarezm to shift to Khiva, which became in the 16th century the capital of the Khanate of Khiva, ruled over by the dynasty of the Arab Shafids. The discovery of gold on the banks of the Amu Darya during the reign of Russia's Peter the Great, together with the desire of the Russian Empire to open a trade route to the Indus, prompted an armed trade expedition to the region, led by Prince Alexander Bekovich Cherkassky, which was repelled by Khiva. It was under Tsars Alexander II and Alexander III that serious efforts to annex the region started. One of the main pretexts to Russian military expeditions to Khiva was to free Russian slaves in the Khanate and to prevent future slave capture and trade. Early in the Great Game, Russian interests in the region collided with those of the British Empire in the First Anglo-Afghan War in 1839. The Khanate of Khiva was gradually reduced in size from Russian expansion in Turkestan, and, in 1873, a peace treaty was signed that established Khiva as a quasi-independent Russian protectorate. After the Bolshevik seizure of power in the October Revolution, a short-lived Khwarezm People's Soviet Republic was created out of the territory of the old Khanate of Khiva. Before, in 1924, it was finally incorporated into the Soviet Union, with the former Khanate divided between the new Turkmen SSR, Uzbek SSR and Karakalpakstan SSR. The larger historical area of Khwarezm is further divided. Northern Khwarezm became the Uzbek SSR, and in 1925 the western part became the Turkmen SSR. Also, in 1936 northwestern part became Kazakh SSR. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, these became Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan respectively. Many of the ancient Khwarezmian towns are situated currently in Khwarezm province, Uzbekistan. Today, the area that was Khwarezm has a mixed population of Uzbeks, Karakalpaks, Turkmens, Persians, Tatars, and Kazakhs. Notables people. The following either hail from Khwarezm, or lived and are buried there. Zoroaster, prophet and founder of the religion of Zoroastrianism. Al-Biruni, outstanding scholar. Mamun II, Khwarezm Shah and founder of an academy. Najm al-Din Kubra, Sufi mystic. Rashid al-Din Vatvat, panegyrist and epistolographer. Fakhr al-Din Razi. Ala al-Din Atsiz, Khwarezm Shah. Ala al-Din Muhammad, Khwarezm Shah. Jalal ad-Din Mengubadi, Khwarezm Shah. Abu al-Hasan Sa'ida ibn Sadr, commentary writer on the writings of Sibawayh. Abu al-Khwarezmi. Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarezmi, mathematician. Muhammad ibn Ahmad al-Khwarezmi, 10th century encyclopedist who wrote Mafati al-Ulam. Zamakhshari, scholar. Qutb al-Zaman. Muhammad ibn Abu Tahir Marwazi, philosopher. Al-Marwazi, astronomer. Mahmud Jalavach, ambassador and governor of Mawar, Sunar. Abu el-Ghazi Bahadur, Khan and historian. Rastakhan, a mercenary leader of the Khazars.